Hi guys, welcome back to another Hugh video. In this video, I'm going to be restoring this Samsung Galaxy Note 9 that has been victim to a brutal hammer attack. Its previous owner has really taken out some rage on this poor phone. The impact has even caused subsequent damage to the other side of the phone. Beyond the major impact, the frame is heavily scratched and the SIM tray is missing. At a closer inspection, it appears the back has torn through the wireless charging module and is exposing the battery. Of course, we won't know the full extent of the damage until I get inside. I purchased this phone for $68, which was the cheapest Galaxy Note 9 at the time. It was sold as a 128GB model in non-working condition. Unpacking it here, you'll see also included was an iPad mini, which I'll be fixing up in a later video. With the Note 9 out, we can test out the phone and see exactly what happens when I plug it in. I was surprised to see the screen still light up, although it's totally unusable. The phone also immediately shuts off after being unplugged, indicating there appears to be some kind of battery issue. Also to my amazement, the wireless charging still works. Whilst also repairing this phone, I will be converting it to the purple color option that this Note 9 could come in. To begin, I will need to heat up the back of the phone on a heat plate for a couple of minutes at 120 degrees to soften the adhesive holding in place that back panel. If you don't have access to a heat plate, you can use a hairdryer or a heat gun to achieve the same result. Once I've created a gap with the Jimmy tool, I can use the plastic picks to work around the edges and separate the back panel. Now, I wouldn't recommend using a metal pry tool to create any gaps if you plan to reuse the frame, but in my case, as the frame is damaged and we'll be replacing it, it didn't matter. Whilst I was wearing eye protection, my fingers were exposed. This led me to get some glass in them. Thankfully, my iFixit toolkit housed the tweezers I needed to repair my finger. With the glass removed, I could proceed working on the phone, this time wearing gloves. Just like other Samsung phones with the fingerprint reader located on the back, there is a cable running to the motherboard, which needs to be disconnected before you can lift off the back panel. To my surprise, this is actually a 512GB model as indicated by the sticker located on the battery. With the back panel removed, we can see the damage caused by the impact, which is quite major. But getting a look at the phone itself is where we can see the real damage. The wireless charging module has been heavily impacted, but I want to take a look at that battery underneath. And just like I expected, it's got a great big dent in it. In fact, it looks like it has somewhat caught fire or at least smoked a lot upon impact. And that indicates why this phone isn't holding a charge. But it's now time to dig a little bit deeper. I'm going to start by removing this wireless charging module from the phone. Once we've got that out of the way, I can disconnect the battery and proceed to the side and lower portion of the phone where I can remove the remaining plastic pieces and speaker from the phone. With that out of the way, we can get a proper look at the insides of this Galaxy Note 9. Besides the impact to the battery, the rest of the phone is looking okay, and I think we can salvage it and be able to get this phone back up and running. I'm going to start by removing the motherboard next, as we'll need to salvage this and transfer it into our new screen and frame assembly. There are a couple of flex cables and 3 screws we'll need to remove that are holding in place the motherboard, as well as one for the headphone jack. After the motherboard has been removed, we can take a look at it and you can see it is quite long and looks very similar to the one found in the Galaxy S10. Although the Note 9 has a modular USB-C port which improves the repairability. Down at the USB-C connector, we'll need to unfasten the 2 Phillips head screws and get it out of the phone. Whilst I'm down here, the headphone jack also needs to come out. Its cable is adhered into place, but using some isopropyl alcohol, it came out with not much of a fight. At the top of the phone, I'll need to detach this sensor cable, which houses the proximity sensor. There is some foil tape and adhesive holding it in place. With that, it's now time to crack out our new replacement display and frame. This comes as one whole assembly with the vibration motor and earpiece already installed. I've also chosen to change the color to purple whilst I'm already replacing the necessary parts. I will start the reassembly process by installing the sensor cable that we just removed. After adhering it back down, it's time to go and install the headphone jack and USB-C charging port. With that, it's already time to get our motherboard in place. Only 3 screws hold it down. After that, I can connect the 4 flex cables and install the 2 cameras back into position. Before we can test the phone, I'll need to install a new battery. For this, I've gone with a supposedly new genuine battery. The box it came in is a real Samsung part box that even has the correct style of barcode printed on it. However, I cannot confirm the battery inside is still that genuine battery. After connecting the battery, we can power on our Galaxy Note 9. Thankfully, it does successfully boot up, however, boots to a passcode screen asking for a PIN to be entered for the phone to even turn on. I will take care of that later on, but for now, I'm going to continue reassembling the phone. To get this battery installed, I'll be using the adhesive that's already applied to the battery and not the frame itself. So I'll remove that adhesive and stick down the battery as it properly should be. Next, I'll need to fasten the speaker assembly back into place. Luckily, this phone uses all Phillips head screws, and from what I can tell, each of these screws are exactly identical in length, which means even if you mix up the screws, you shouldn't damage any of the phone. I'll also transfer across this little serial number sticker from the old battery to our new one. Once that's in, it's time to get this wireless charging module sorted out. Whilst it does work, I don't feel safe putting it back in the phone, so I've purchased a replacement one which I can adhere on now. It simply folds around and is stuck down in place. With that, it can be placed into the phone and fastened down with the several Phillips head screws. With the wireless charging module installed and adhered, we can remove its protective film and continue by cleaning up any residual glue on the plastic mid-frame pieces. After that, we can install the new fingerprint reader. It's now time to turn our attention to the back panel. We'll need to get it prepped for installation. It didn't come with a replacement camera lens, so I have had to purchase one in purple to install on this new back panel. Whilst I'm at it, I'll also install the adhesive for the fingerprint reader. Upon removing the protective film for the back panel, I noticed that it was barely stuck on and it just came up. Luckily, I had adhesive that was of higher quality, which I'll install now. There are several pieces of adhesive that need to be applied. This first one was already installed, but many of these replacement back panels don't include the second round of adhesive. This second round of adhesive attaches to many of the mid-frame plastic pieces like the wireless charging module and the speaker. After removing all of this plastic protective film, I can finally connect the two halves together. It's crucial to ensure everything is lined up before firmly pressing it in place. This includes the sides, top and bottom, as well as the fingerprint reader. With our phone reassembled, it's now time to get our operating system reinstalled. I'll boot into recovery mode and reset the device to factory settings. This will remove all of the previous data from the phone. After it's complete, we can continue setting up the device. With the phone now set up, we can navigate into settings and see this is running Android 8.1 with a security patch update of September of 2018. So it's been a very long time since anyone's used this phone. The last thing I need to do is remove the protective film from the display and from the back of the phone. And we're done. So this is it. A once abused Galaxy Note 9 is not only back in a working state, but is now purple. All functions of the phone are working, including the new fingerprint reader. This phone is equipped with 512 gigs of storage, 8 gigs of RAM, and a 4000 mAh battery. The last owner either never updated the phone or it had a very short life, given it's running a security patch update from late 2018. I haven't yet purchased a purple S Pen, however, that's an easy fix and all this phone now needs. And on that note, this has been a Hugh Jeffries video. If you like what you saw, hit that subscribe button and consider checking out the phone restoration playlist for more videos just like this one. And if you're looking for any used devices, be sure to check out my website, link for which is down in the description. That's all for this video, and I'll catch you guys next time.